Ever wondered how it'd feel if you woke up one day and started speaking in a foreign accent? Well, brace yourselves for a trip into the world of the strange and fascinating foreign accent syndrome. This is no sci-fi plot, but a rare neurological disorder that could have you speaking your native tongue with a twist, often a result of a brain injury, like a stroke or accident. This syndrome manifests itself in a strange way. It causes individuals to start articulating their native language as if they had a foreign accent. Picture this, you're an American, born and raised in the heart of Texas, but one day, you start speaking English with a thick French accent. Odd, isn't it? But it's precisely what happens with foreign accent syndrome. Imagine sounding French while speaking English without ever being to France. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this curious case of talking foreign. Sounds like a plot of a science fiction movie, doesn't it? But it's not. It's very real. Imagine waking up one day and suddenly speaking in an accent that's entirely foreign to you. It may seem like a quirky twist of fate, but for those who have experienced it, it's a jarring reality. Take the case of the iconic British singer George Michael. In 2012, he woke up from a coma and shocked the world by speaking in a West Country accent. His fans were befuddled and intrigued, but for George, it was a strange and unsettling experience. He'd always been a Londoner, through and through. This sudden shift in his speech was unexpected, to say the least. Then there's the story of an American woman who, after a jaw surgery, woke up one day speaking in a British accent. The woman, a Texas native, was left flabbergasted. She'd never been to Britain, nor had she been particularly fond of British television shows. Yet there she was, sounding like she'd just stepped out of a BBC drama. Or consider the instance of a Norwegian woman who, after suffering a shrapnel injury during World War II, started speaking with a German accent. The shift was so pronounced that she was ostracized by her community who believed she was a German spy. These stories might sound like anomalies, but they are not. They are instances of a rare but fascinating condition known as foreign accent syndrome. This neurological disorder, often triggered by a brain injury, causes individuals to suddenly start speaking their native language in a foreign accent. The accent can be from any part of the world, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a place the person has visited or has any connection with. It's as if the brain, in its attempt to recover from the injury, rewires the speech centers in a completely new way, resulting in a different accent. These are not isolated incidents, but instances of a fascinating condition known as the foreign accent syndrome. You might be wondering, how does this even happen? Well, let's delve into the science behind foreign accent syndrome to find some answers. Our brain is a complex structure with different parts responsible for different functions. When it comes to speech, the primary players are the left hemisphere, specifically Broca's area and Wernicke's area. These areas are responsible for speech production and comprehension respectively. In foreign accent syndrome, these areas, or the neural pathways connecting them, are often damaged, leading to changes in speech patterns. The damage can be caused by various factors. A stroke, for instance, occurs when the blood supply to a part of the brain is cut off, causing the death of brain cells due to lack of oxygen. This can lead to physical symptoms like speech changes. Similarly, migraines characterized by severe headaches can sometimes affect the brain's function, leading to speech alterations. Developmental issues can also play a role. For instance, children with certain developmental disorders may exhibit speech patterns that are different from their peers. Brain injuries from accidents or trauma can also lead to this condition. Now, it's important to understand that foreign accent syndrome doesn't mean the person has suddenly acquired a new language. It's not like waking up one day knowing how to speak French when you've only ever spoken English. Instead, what happens is that the damage to the brain alters the way the person pronounces certain sounds and intonations. This alteration is what gives the impression of a foreign accent. For instance, a person might start pronouncing the as d, r as u, or start using a different intonation pattern. To the listener, these changes might sound like a foreign accent, even though the person is still speaking their native language. So, it's not about suddenly acquiring a new language, but about how our brain processes speech. Our brains are incredibly intricate and resilient, but sometimes when they're thrown off track, they can lead to fascinating phenomena like foreign accent syndrome. Speaking in a foreign accent might sound amusing, but it can have serious implications. Now let's dive deeper into the impact of foreign accent syndrome on those who live with it every day. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that when you speak, you sound completely different. It's not just a change in pitch or tone, but your very accent, the signature of your linguistic identity, has altered. This is the reality for people living with foreign accent syndrome. The psychological impact can be profound. Many individuals experience an identity crisis, feeling as if they have lost a part of themselves. The accent they've grown up with, which is often closely tied to their sense of self and cultural identity, is suddenly stripped away. This can lead to feelings of confusion, frustration, and even grief. Moreover, the social impact cannot be underestimated. In a world where accents can be a source of bias and stereotyping, an unexpected change in accent can lead to stigmatization and discrimination. People may be mistaken for being from a country they have no connection to, leading to miscommunication and misunderstanding. This experience can be isolating, causing individuals to withdraw from social interactions to avoid the embarrassment or confusion that their new accent may cause. It's also worth noting that the sudden onset of a foreign accent can create a sense of loss. This isn't just about losing an accent, it's about losing a piece of personal history. It's about losing the ability to express oneself in the way one is accustomed to. This loss can lead to feelings of alienation, not just from others, but from oneself. The impact of foreign accent syndrome goes beyond the physical change in speech. It can shake a person's sense of self, alter their social interactions, and lead to a profound sense of loss. It's a powerful reminder of how deeply our speech is intertwined with our identity and our connection with others. Speaking differently can change how people perceive us and how we perceive ourselves. So next time you hear a unique accent, remember, there might be more to the story than meets the ear. Is there a cure for this intriguing condition? This is a question that often comes up when discussing foreign accent syndrome. Diagnosing this condition is a multidisciplinary process involving a team of experts including speech-language pathologists, neurologists, and psychologists. The process begins with a comprehensive evaluation of the individual's speech and language capabilities. This is performed by a speech-language pathologist who assesses the person's phonetic and phonological characteristics, essentially how they form and combine sounds. The specific changes in pronunciation, stress patterns, and speech rhythm are all taken into account to determine if the changes in speech can indeed be categorized as a foreign accent. Neurologists also play a key role in the diagnostic process. They conduct a thorough neurological examination to identify any damage or abnormality in the brain that could be triggering the altered speech patterns. This usually involves brain imaging techniques such as an MRI or CT scan to visualize the brain's structure and function. Psychologists, on the other hand, assess the psychological impact of the condition on the individual. They evaluate the person's mental and emotional state, looking for signs of stress, anxiety, or depression that could be linked to the sudden change in speech. Once diagnosed, treatment for foreign accent syndrome is primarily supportive and rehabilitative. Speech therapy is the first line of treatment. It involves working with a speech-language pathologist to help the individual regain their original accent. This could involve exercises to improve articulation, intonation, and stress patterns. Counseling or psychotherapy may also be recommended to help individuals cope with the emotional and psychological implications of the condition. This could include strategies to manage stress, improve self-esteem, and address any social or communication difficulties resulting from the change in accent. However, it's important to note that while these treatments can help manage the symptoms and improve quality of life, there is currently no known cure for foreign accent syndrome. The condition can persist for months, years, or even a lifetime. But with the right support and treatment, individuals with this intriguing syndrome can continue to lead fulfilling lives. While treatment can help manage the condition, there's no known cure for this syndrome. Foreign accent syndrome, a fascinating condition that shows us the complexity of the human brain. We've traveled a unique journey today, diving deep into the mystery of this rare neurological disorder. We've explored what this syndrome is, a condition that suddenly bestows upon a person an accent foreign to their native tongue, usually as a result of a brain injury. We've heard about real-life instances, bringing the reality of this condition to the forefront. We've delved into the science behind it, understanding how our brain's miraculous workings can lead to such unexpected outcomes. We've discussed the impact it has on the lives of those affected and the people around them. And we've looked at the diagnosis and treatment options available, offering hope in the face of adversity. So the next time you hear someone with a mixed accent, remember it could be more than just a quirky speech pattern. It could be foreign accent syndrome.